Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel, where today, rather disappointingly, we have analysis of Manchester United's 4-3 loss to Bayern. A 4-3 loss suggests a tight, feisty affair which had us on the edge of our seats till the end, but it wasn't really that, because this always felt like Bayern winning. Aside from the first 30 minutes where United played well, this was always Bayern winning this football match. What we need to cover today, more than anything, is schoolboy defending for the goals, amateur level defending, Sunday League level defending. It's horrendous from United. But first of all, let's get into the tactical side of things, because again, I feel so sorry for Ten Hag, because again, I think he set the team up alright. First 30 minutes, United are the better team. Facundo Pellistri has a huge chance 3 minutes into the game. Alphonso Davies does incredibly well defensively, but could Facundo Pellistri been a bit sharper and got there and scored? He probably should have done. The rebound falls to Eriksen. Eriksen also should score. We have, of course, saw calamitous errors which kind of gave Bayern their lead. It weren't great from that point of view. But actually, tactically, United were nearly there. They were nearly okay, but still not quite. So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFifa.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFifa for 10% off when you order. So how did United look to play? United were actually quite aggressive in their press, something which I advised against. Ten Hag ignored that advice and went for the high press in a sort of 4-1-4-1 shape. Now what we saw was Rasmus Højlund kind of initially starting on this side. As the ball goes here to Kim Min-jae, he's going to force him to play down one way. And that's good defensive work. Rasmus Højlund was genuinely good with his press. Not only the intensity, but also the intelligence to curve that run to apply pressure to the ball. He done well in that sense. We then saw United kind of go man for man in midfield. A bit more like this at times. Like this, although obviously Kimmich and Goretzka could swap, there was at times a bit of confusion. But in general, United looked okay man for man in these areas. They looked like they could apply pressure to the ball. If the ball went wide to Alphonso Davies, he was 1 versus 1 against Facundo Pellistri. If it went to Gnabry, he was 1 versus 1 with Dalot. United were going man for man down this side of the pitch and executing it pretty well. I thought Bayern actually struggled to play through this. Because the numerical matches were even, it came down to individual battles, and United done pretty well. I thought Dalot won the battle against Gnabry, Davies edged the battle against Facundo Pellistri, but you'd expect that, but Facundo still done pretty well. Kimmich on Fernandes or Goretzka on Eriksen. Again, United were dealing with this pretty well for large periods, and things were okay. The problem came more when Musiala would drift over here and get in a 1 versus 1 against Casemiro. A complete mismatch. Casemiro scored 2 goals in this game. Please, if you think Casemiro played well in this game, you just need to change the way you're looking at things, because you're looking at it as a result base. Casemiro produced his worst ever Champions League performance by a mile. By an absolute mile, but we'll cover why a bit later on. But Musiala just had the 1v1 beating of him all day long. But in general, United were doing okay down this side of the pitch, and they were containing pretty well. The problem then became structurally on the other side. So because United have gone with this sort of press, right? So if the ball goes here, Højlund is curving this run, making sure that the ball is forced to Kim Min-jae. Højlund's going to curve his run and force Bayern to play this way. The problem is that if the ball then goes to Alphonso Davies, Kim then steps and goes back to the goalkeeper. Now we have 3 players down this side. And Rashford's kind of job here was to press quite high. So as Højlund is pressing Kim, Rashford would then come up in between these two, which, as always with the United press, leaves this ball out to Lima on the other side, out to the fullback. Now, we didn't see this as much as what we usually do, but it is still a problem, and we still saw it far too much. Now, to give Marcus Rashford some credit, defensively, he worked hard in this game. He cannot be accused of being lazy. On the first goal, which we'll look at shortly, you can question actually his defensive ability, but he did work hard in this game. Lima wasn't given a free run, and actually, Rashford had a lot of ground to cover, because tactically he was put at a disadvantage because he was forced higher. So as the ball goes to Lima and Lima steps forward, Rashford had a lot of ground to cover. He actually done it pretty well, so that was good to see. The problem is, though, that United just got pulled apart in these areas, because Kane would drop a little bit deeper. What this is going to do is draw Lisandro Martinez in, like so, in a man-for-man approach. But this opens up room for Leroy Sané to start in this area and then run outside of Reguilon, or do it the other way around, start outside and run inside. And because Rashford is delayed in getting to Lima because he started higher, it meant that Lima could get into positions to then feed balls down the outside. And that's where Bayern were, from there, genuinely hurting United and causing a few problems. But it still wasn't too bad. You know, United dealt with these problems most of the match. these areas when the ball did go into these positions, United were able to match it. Reguilón defended really well in these situations for large parts. United still looked okay. United also looked okay on the ball as well. So what we often saw was United playing out from the back. Bayern looked to press in a sort of a 4-4-2 with Kane and Musiala stepping high. Although at times it was more of a 1-1 structure in the midfield like this, with Goretzka higher than Kimmich like so. Bayern were pretty aggressive in their approach as well, in their press. But United were too good for them in these areas. Onana's ball-playing ability was literally perfect for this game. When Goretzka got caught a little bit deeper, tied up by someone like Bruno Fernandes and Eriksen, United caused problems. Because now you've got 4 versus 2 here, and United executed this really well. So for example, Musiala would start on Casemiro. As the ball goes to Lindelof, he would then shuttle out, and now you're going to see a piston press. But United actually beat that really well, because Onana came into centre-back as a third player here. Meaning you now can't be piston pressed. Because Kane and Musiala now have 4 players to cover rather than 2. So as a result, United played out from the back really well. Now, in an attempt to kind of address this, Leroy Sané started pressing a little bit narrower, but then United could go wide to Reguilón. And now United could get in behind the Bayern midfield, or behind the front line, and start causing problems. Reguilón could carry the ball forward. We now saw Casemiro the wrong side of Kane. Eriksen's in here. Bruno Fernandes is in here. United were now going 3 versus 2 in the midfield. United now have a genuine overload in these areas, and were playing quite well. Now, down the right-hand side, they didn't have much threat. Facundo Pellistri just couldn't really trouble Alphonso Davies. We know how good he is physically, athletically. Alphonso didn't have much joy there. But United had genuine joy in these central areas. They were able to move the ball forward with quick passing, and it looked quite good. They also looked threatening down the left-hand side. With this Rashford and Reguilón link-up, looking quite nice at the moment. Reguilón's played really well in his first 2 games. United were causing problems. Rashford more in an inside position rather than a wide position in this game. United were causing problems, and like I said, another day, they're 2-0 up inside that first 30 minutes. This United team has to learn to take their chances. They have to learn to take their chances, but United didn't. United should be 2-0 up in the first 30 minutes, and we're talking about genuinely brilliant coaching from Erik ten Hag, because he's won, in possession in particular, the tactical battle, and also defensively, his side was dealing with it pretty well. Then we see errors. Now, first thing we need to address, of course, is the Onana error. I know there's a lot of De Gea fans who will say, I told you so, I told you we should have kept De Gea. I've got a couple of points on that. One, go watch De Gea's highlights from the past 2 seasons. He was conceding these goals as well. We all remember that one against Messi in the Champions League. I think it's daft to say, De Gea still gets labelled as a great shot stopper despite conceding worse shots than this. I also respect Onana, and this is the big thing, for after the game coming out and saying, this game was my fault. If I was better, we wouldn't have lost this game. He literally requested an interview. He wasn't meant to be interviewed. He said, can I have an interview, please? I want to accept the blame. Which, mentality-wise, that's huge. And that's a mentality which United have lacked. Someone to actually kind of take responsibility for himself. If you make an error, own it. Take responsibility. And he has done that very well, which is good to see. What isn't good to see is how easily the shots are coming at this United goal. And I thought, defensively, Eriksen was horrendous. Casemiro was pathetic. Lindelof, shambolic. Genuinely shambolic from those 3 from a defensive point of view. And of course, Onana, like we've already said, basically putting the ball in his own net. Also not good enough. But this is the problem. United's midfield 2, defensively they cover no ground, but also show no awareness. And that's a really bad combination against quite an athletic Bayern side. So let's go to Once Video Analyzer Pro, as we've got on screen here for the first goal. If you want to check out Once Video Analyzer Pro, there will be a link in the description down below. It's a great software. If you want to get into analysis or take your analysis to the next level, this is what you need to use. Also, apologies if you hear barking in the background. Anyway, this is what's going to happen. Bayern are going to move the ball wide, but we want to watch Eriksen and Casemiro throughout this move, because, like I said, it's really poor. So the ball goes wide. Now, this is where I have my first criticism of Marcus Rashford here. He's tracked back really well. We can see Lima and Sané. It's a 2 versus 2 against Reguilón and Rashford. Rashford is just too passive. It's too easy for Sané to go past him. So credit for putting in the work rate, kind of taking that on board from the weekend. He gets back in. He is beaten too easily, and that's a problem. But Christian Eriksen here shows that he isn't combative enough to play in midfield. Because here, this attempted challenge, look how far away from the ball he is when he attempts this challenge. He is an absolute mile off. Not only is Eriksen a complete mile off of this first tackle, the ball goes into Harry Kane, who kind of pops it off, rebounds it back to Sané. Eriksen and Casemiro are nowhere near. This is your double pivot. These are your 2 protectors on the edge of the penalty area. They're nowhere near. Now, I actually don't want to criticise Casemiro too much on this one, because I feel like his man was more Musiala. This is more on Eriksen. Look at Eriksen, number 14. He's just standing there. Now, like I said, at the end of the day, Lisandro Martinez puts the pressure on, kind of forces not a great shot from Leroy Sané. Onana puts it into the back of his own net, which is horrendous from Onana. There's no dressing that up. It's terrible from Onana. His shot stopping has to improve. But Eriksen has got to do a better job of stopping this shot. He has to do more to impact a play. Here in particular, hang on, if we just go back 1 second. Here, Eriksen has to do so much more. He has to do so much more to stop this ball. It's too easy. We go on to the second goal. Is this the second goal? It is the second goal. This one is very frustrating. So what have we got? We've got Musiala on the dribble. Now Musiala's a wonderful dribbler. I was saying in my preview and in my live stream, if Musiala plays, United will have problems because he can dribble. United don't know how to stop dribblers. We can question Dalot. Should Dalot do better defensively? Possibly in his 1-versus-1 duel. But the person I want to question more is Casemiro's awareness. Watch Casemiro, top left. We've got him here. On Serge Gnabry, the eventual goal scorer. What I want you to do is watch whether or not Casemiro closes down this space. Now, the reason I want you to watch this is because this move actually happens quite slowly. Musiala is dribbling, but this isn't like Mbappe speed dribbling. You know, he's kind of he's got into the penalty area, but he gets delayed quite well from United defensively. Watch Casemiro. He has plenty of time to close this gap. Here he has a decision. United have delayed the move really well here. So you can see this isn't exactly happening at breakneck speed. It's not like United don't have time to recover. They don't have the brain to recover. Casemiro, in this instance, we can see his distance from Gnabry. He makes the decision to close the ball down. He's the holding midfielder. How is he not making the decision to close Gnabry down on the edge? He's still nowhere near Gnabry. It's been his man the whole time. It's his man the whole way. It is his man the whole way. Casemiro is jogging or walking the whole way. It's not like this move has happened really quick and Casemiro in his old age doesn't have the speed to get there. This is an intelligence issue. Or an effort issue as well. He just never picks up Gnabry once in this move. And Onana ends up with no chance. But Eriksen and Casemiro, again, don't get close. How many goals are United conceding at the moment? From an attack coming out wide and then a ball getting cut back inside towards the edge of the penalty area or in the penalty area. We saw the first goal, it comes out wide, Sané comes inside. It's not the same, but it is still from out to in. Here, the ball has come wide from Musiala, down the line, he comes back inside. It's horrendous. Now, in the lead up to the third goal, we're actually not going to break that goal down because, of course, it's a penalty. But there are still problems in it. And again, there's still things which Ten Hag will be frustrated about because his side had just scored, had just got themselves back in the game. Eriksen gets on the ball in midfield. United have literally just scored. Bayern kick-off, United win the ball. Eriksen gets the ball in midfield, has 4 runners in front of him. He plays so slowly. I haven't got the clip for it today. Go and find it if you can. Before the penalty, he plays so slowly. Bayern pickpocket him, go on a counter-attack. Casemiro dives in, gets caught out. Bayern on the counter-attack, win the corner, handball from the corner. It's harsh handball. With the modern rule, it is handball, but it seems a little bit harsh still. So Bayern score a third. Then we have the fourth as well. So United are getting themselves back in the game. They're trying to fight back. But again, we have errors. And again, this is defensively. It's horrendous. It's schoolboy defending. So we've got Kimmich on the edge of the box, or not even the edge of the box, halfway through the half here. McTominay should be embarrassed with his performance. For how little time he was on the pitch, how little he sprinted was embarrassing. This actually, if you go back and watch McTominay alone, this looked like mutiny from a player. This looked like a player who was trying to say something to his manager. Because he did not put any effort in, and that's concerning. But we've got Tell, right? We've got him here on the edge of the penalty area. Just want to make sure you can see that. Yep. Got Tell on the edge. Casemiro is picking him up. Lindelof is also picking him up. One of them has to follow the run here, right? Because you can see they're both on him. Choupo-Moting, I believe the other player is being marshalled by Lisandro Martinez. So Lindelof and Casemiro between them. One of them just needs to pick up Tell. Okay, it's 2 versus 1. United are in control here. But they're not. Because as the ball comes over, how has he got off of the back of the 2 of them? How's he got off both of them? We can see he's Casemiro's man here. Now, personally, I think Casemiro should just track this in. If he's not going to track this in, he has to communicate with Lindelof. Neither thing happens. The ball comes into the box, it's a great ball. But it's laughable that he has this much room. Look at the clock, top left. Look how little time this takes. So this is 1 minute and 2 seconds into added time. Look how close they are. Now by 1 minute 5 seconds, they're an absolute mile apart. It's schoolboy defending, and this is why I feel sorry for Ten Hag, and it's why he does not deserve too much criticism for this performance. He set United up pretty well. In possession, United looked good, they looked dangerous. They scored 3 goals at the end of the day. They did hurt Bayern, and should have gone 1-0 up inside 3 or 4 minutes. Could have been 2-0 up by 30th minute. Individual errors. Rashford not showing the defensive ability. Eriksen not showing the defensive intensity. Onana throws it in his net. Second goal, which one's the second goal? Musiala dribbling, too good. Casemiro, lack of awareness, horrendous. Doesn't even attempt to track his man. Third goal, Eriksen takes way too long on the ball. Casemiro dives in. Corner, penalty, goal. Fourth goal, Lindelof and Casemiro do not track their man. What can Ten Hag do with that? When professional footballers on incredibly high wages are making such basic errors, I don't know what Ten Hag's supposed to do. People say Ten Hag out, whatever, but what is he meant to do when his footballers who are on incredible wages are performing like this? When one of the best holding midfielders in history can't do the basic job of looking over his shoulder and following his man, I don't know what the manager can do. When Onana throws the ball in his net, I don't know what the manager can do. When Lindelof doesn't want to track a forward, I don't know what the manager can do. When Eriksen and Casemiro physically cannot run towards their own goal, I don't know what the manager can do. He needs players back from injury, and he needs to drop some people. Some people need to be dropped because they're not doing the job that they were brought in to do, and that's a real problem. The positive of the night, Rasmus Højlund scored his first Champions League goal for the club, which is great to see. That's all I got for you. The positive actually is that Ten Hag tactically set it up alright. That's my positive for you guys. That is my positive. Maybe when players come back from injury, we'll see something different. But in terms of this game, I'm not going to sit here and scream positives at you because defensively, it was absolutely horrendous. It was schoolboy stuff. If you go watch some Sunday League matches at the weekend, you'll see a similar level of tracking and defending. And that's a real concern. So that's as far as I'm going to take it. Because we can only talk about tactics so long when your defenders give away 4 goals. What can you do? So that's all we've got to say for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope this has given you a different insight into the game. But yeah, apart from that, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.